This. Okay.
Last week I almost put the wrong one. He recorded for what, like 2 minutes.
How is 10 in the process?
Oh, stop asking questions. You can't ask questions.
All right. Now, let's go back.
There's an article on it.
Last week,
Okay.
we spoke.
All of the acrostics.
Just got all the letters, those good stuff.
There was an article? What do you mean?
No, but
I said, how is 10 an acrostic?
Oh, yeah.
Read the book.
10 is a combination of 9 and 10. They make it up. You just read the book. It's all in volume 1 and very clear. Very clear, yeah.
yes.
I wanted to talk about, related to what we spoke about last week, going back to Eliyahu. I wanted to talk about a couple of important things. One of them is related to when he meets with God. After the Carmel scene.
When does he get threatened by the queen again? Is it before God speaks to him?
Right at the Carmel.
Right.
Before God speaks to him?
Yeah.
He runs away. And that's when
Yeah.
God speaks to him. Okay.
So we pointed out last week that the scene is he gets the Nevi'e Baal, 450 of them. He has them killed. He taunts them, tells them, call God, call your, and they're calling, and so they're called in a loud voice, right? That's in verse, if you want to know what all of this is, like verse 27, 18:27. V'yomer kiru b'kol gadol, Elohim, hu kisigo, v'derech lo ulai yashenhu, maybe he's sleeping. Why don't you call him? Call loud. And they call with Kol Gadol. 450 guys calling out loud is a very, I would call that the scene at their, if you'd be in a stadium, you'd hear a lot of tumult and a lot of people calling out because he tells them call louder, and they do it. They do respond. When he says call out, v'en kol v'en oneh, right? And when he tells them call out with a loud voice, keru b'kol gadol, right? Ve'yekre'u b'kol gadol. Not only do they call, they start cutting themselves.
They actually believe it's going to work.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So they start, and they're cutting themselves. Also, they take things and they hit themselves, right? Right. And with spears until blood starts to come out. They do it until blood starts to come out. They're hitting themselves, yeah. So when you hear, if you think of the scene is a very loud guy screaming, right? That's what I said, right? And it's very it's like almost 450 people screaming at the top of their lungs and hitting themselves and bleeding. If you were in the movie, you'd see this. You'd see the scene if they made a movie of it. You'd see a lot of you would certainly hear a lot of noise, a lot, very loud, and then the fire. It's a conflagration, the fire, right? Because when the fire breaks out, he tells them, do it again, do it a third time with the basins, the water, and then he puts it's tapad, and he puts it on the wood, and he says, fill up the jugs. We spoke about this last week, and then he says, Anani, Hashem Anani in verse 37, and these people know that you are Elohim. Now, we pointed out last week Morris's observation, and the fire of God fell. Not that it's a fire went out from God. The the fire of God fell down and it consumed the Olah and the Etzim and the Abanim and the Afar. Listen what it consumed. It didn't only consume the sacrifice. It also consumed the Etzim and the Abanim and the Afar and the water that was in the basins, right? It dissolved them. How do they translate lihecha, Morris? That last word of verse 38.
38. It licked up the water.
Licked up. I think that probably means it. Yeah, but when it says lick up, when fire licks something up, in other words, it dissolves it. It evaporated. That's the word I'm looking for, right? So you call that it licked it up. It evaporated, right? Vayar kol ha'am, and they fall on the face of Vayomeru, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim, V'yom Elohim tivsu et nebiah Baal, and then they get them, take them to Nahal Kishon, which is very interesting because Nahal Kishon is where the miracle of Devorah happened with the flash flood, which was a miraculous flash flood because it happens when you're right, when you don't expect it, and he slaughters them there. Now, listen, I don't want to be gory, but you know what it's like watching 450 people slaughtered? He has enough people. Eliyahu has enough people with him to grab 450. 450 guys don't sit there and let you kill them.
Well, the mob's there. The mob's now convinced.
I said the mob is big enough. Yes, there's a few thousand people gathering around these 450 guys, right? And it's not an army. It's not an army. They're gonna slaughter them. So there's 450 guys slaughtered, right? They're bad guys. Don't get me wrong. They're Nevi'eh Baal. I'm not talking about right or wrong. I'm saying that these guys were screaming and yelling and cutting themselves. Then there's a fire conflagration, and it says v'tipol ish, and it consumed. And then it says they grabbed them, and he took them to Nahal Kishon, which makes you think of the Nahal Kishon is where the flesh flood took place against Sisera. And now he takes them there and he slaughters them there. In other words, there are enough guys. Let's say anything. Let's say it took 10 guys to get a hold of each guy, or 5 guys to get a hold of each guy and hold them down, and times 500 is another. Is 2,500 to 3,000 people.
We wouldn't expect less though for this event.
Okay, I'm just saying. I only want to say there's thousands of people taking them to Nahal Kishon. They get to Nahal Kishon. Does everybody know about Nahal Kishon?
Yeah,
everybody knows about Nahal Kishon. He took them to the famous place where the miracle happened.
Where is it geographically?
In the north.
Is it near Carmel?
Not too far, I think. Not too far. Yeah. In the map, take a look on your.
It's not how Kishon a place.
It's north. They're all right there up north. Yeah. You'll see. So now, let me tell you, when you go to Nahal Kishon, you know, you're going to the famous, legendary place where the nation has not a legend, fact. It's legendary, but it's factual. Everybody knows that's where the Devorah, that miraculous thing happened. Now it started raining, right? What? Okay.
Yeah, the Kishon River in Asia.
Right. Right. Okay. Right. So it started. It's
Oh, yeah, it's true too.
what?
It's river in Asia. It is in Asia.
Oh yeah. So it started. It starts raining. Remember that place. What really happened in the story there? It was miraculous, but it wasn't miraculous magic. It started to rain. But if you don't call a guy who comes with 900 chariots right after you in the middle of the summer, and he's in the wadi over there If you don't call, all of a sudden there's a flash flood. Go ask any Israeli, when was the last time there was a flash flood in Israel in the middle of the summer? They'll tell you never, right? And if there was, it was 100 years ago for one shot. Now, so it's happening. Listen carefully now. It's happening with natural means, of course.
Like everything else. Right.
Okay, so that place that he goes, in the minds of the people, it represents a miracle. Just listen to what I'm saying. It represents in their mind, when you're there, you're at the place where the miracle took place. Now, it was a miracle, but in the minds of the people, it was a miracle, magic.
Not
You
God.
understand?
Not God.
It. You're not understanding. You're not. Just bear with me. It's a miracle. Of course, it's a miracle, but it's this kind of miracle in their minds. When they're there, it's the one.
Not the natural.
It levitated. There's a difference between the miracle. In 1967 was a miracle. If you don't think it was a miracle, you're nuts. 1948 was a miracle. If you don't think it's a miracle, I feel bad for you, right? Israel is a miracle. The existing Israel today, with what it had, is a miracle. But when you go to Nahal Kishon, the imagery in the minds of the people are this kind of miracle. It's legendary. It's so amazing that like everybody goes, an outright magical. I'm using the word now. You understand? Not it rained and that was very no, wow, there's impossible. That was an outright miracle. So he goes to the place that has attached to it one of the most miraculous, quote unquote, events in the nation's history. So today, right, every child knows Shirat Torah because it goes down on the books for thousands of years as one of the most miraculous events in the nation's history, right, with the chariots. So he goes there. I'm saying this now. Clearly, he goes there because of what's attached to it, right? And then he kills them there. Why kill them there? The way the 900 chariots were killed, he's killing the bad guys, the Nevi Baal, in the same wadi, right? Over there, right?
But not by magic, by actually killing them.
But by actually killing them. Exactly. He's having people. There are, what did I say? There are 3,000, 5,000, there are thousands of men who are holding on to these guys and then taking swords and killing them, right? That they didn't deserve to die. I'm just saying that's what's being done. Where is he doing it? In Nahal Kishon. That's where Sisera and all this guy, the entire army of Canaan got obliterated.
It's gonna pour.
And after this, it says exactly, Vayomer Eliyahu lahab alei echol, go eat ushte. Right after it says they slaughtered them, in 1841, it says, listen carefully, Vayomer Eliyahu lahab alei echol, go eat ushte and drink. He called Hamon Hagashim because
For rumble, there was a rumbling of approaching rain.
you hear this?
Yeah.
Now the literal words are call, a sound, Hamon. Hamon means a powerful,
Rumbling, it said.
a powerful sound, right? Right? Hagashim is the rain.
Right.
What does that make you think of?
Thunder. Hearing it in the distance.
Thunder, right? The rain is coming, right? Go eat. Now, Morris is pointing out to you that immediately after he slaughters them, there is no rain. They've been in a drought. Remember now, right? Right? Before this came the story of the woman says, he tells her, give me food after he leaves the birds. How many years?
3 years.
Yeah. And now what does he say? She tells, she's Mikoshesh, she says, I'm going to gather the wood now and me and my kids are going to die. right? And he says, don't worry, you're gonna make it through this, and we live.
ימים רבים, ודבר אדוני היה אל אליהו בשנה השלישית.
On the third year, right? Go ahead.
לאמור, לך הראה אל אחאב,
Appear before Ahav,
ואתנן מטר על פני האדמה.
and I'll make it rain.
And he goes.
And he goes, now, well, where does he go?
He's gonna.
What is the very next thing he does?
וילך אליהו להיראות אל אחאב.
And then keep reading.
והרעב חזק בשומרון.
Go ahead.
ויקרא אחאב אל עובדיהו אשר על הבית, עובדיהו היה ירא את אדוני מאוד, והיה בהפריט איזבל את נביאי אדוני ויקח עובדיה.
Right. There's a whole thing about how he informs Ahab, but now he's informing Ahab, go eat and drink.
Yeah.
Now, right after. And it's rain. Now, no one's expecting rain. Was anybody expecting rain with Nahal Kishon?
Nope.
No.
No one was expecting rain now. It's been years, right? No rain at all. There's nothing to do with the winter, with the summertime. It's been a drought, right? There's no rain. So go eat. So Vilashtot. Vileo Allah Rosh HaKarmel. Vayighar Arsa. So he goes to the the top of the Carmel. Oh, Mars, we can't keep on to Mars. He doesn't want to help us.
Climbed to Mount Carmel and crouched on the ground,
Very kind of awesome.
and he put his face between his knees.
Whatever that means, he's bending down, and he bends down, and he puts his head between his knees. Ve'yomer el naro, and he tells his assistant, Alena, go up, go, habet derech yam, go and
Go up and look toward the sea.
towards the sea. Ve'al, ve'abit, and he looks, ve'yomer and me'uma,
There's nothing.
ve'yomer shub sheva pa'amim,
Go back 7 times.
ve'hi b'shevi'it,
On the 7th time,
ve'yomer hineh ad ketana kechaf ish ola miyan.
a cloud as small as a man's hand is rising in the west.
That means, of course, nothing more that when you go like this, is a little tiny thing out in the distance. If you
First time they've seen in years, so.
haven't seen the thing, and it's very far away. Ve'yomer aleh emor el ahab,
Go say,
esor vared v'lo yasorcha hagashim.
pitch up your chariot and go down before the rain stops you.
You hear that?
Chariot.
Hitch up your chariot. You happen to have rain. You happen to have the word referring to a get yourself ready so you don't vehi ad kor ve'ad kor ve'shamayim hitkadiru abim
Meanwhile, the sky grew black with clouds. There was wind.
veruach.
There was wind.
Now that's the early onset of a thunderstorm, right? You have the it gets very dark, and then it gets very windy, right? The heat geshem gadol
Heavy downpour.
vayikav ahab
Ahab mounted his chariot
vayelech Yisraela.
and drove off to Jezreel.
Now
Is there,
that scene that we what?
I'm sort of being rewarded here by the fact that now there's rain and the country is coming back to a normal state. So is he did he buy into the Baal situation that Eliyahu performed?
He's gonna let his wife go after him to kill him. So I don't know how you could look at it as very positive.
So why is Eliyahu giving him the rain and stuff like that?
He's not giving him the rain. Eliyahu is absolutely.
By saying,
It
God-
starts off, God said, go tell Ahab I'm ending the drought.
So why is he being rewarded that way?
Forget that story that has nothing to do with anything. It's 3 years. You're supposed to answer that question for yourself. Everybody's gonna die. It's 3 years. You only hold out so long with a drought, and then after that, everybody starts dying like flies. So God's merciful, evidently, right? Evidently, I don't know. I'm answering like you. Evidently, God says, "Go tell him I'm gonna let it rain."
well,
Go ahead.
it could just be like we know about Eliyahu, that he is very scientifically knowledgeable. He
Right.
knows when the rain's stopping, and he
Okay.
has.
No, that's not
That's just
answering
it.
his question.
That's-
Why
it-
did God tell him?
I understand.
He did have a thing. Go
Yeah.
tell him it's gonna end,
I understand.
right?
So what does that mean that God tells him that the rain is coming?
For now, no. I say, you could say what you say, and he did get a,
Okay.
you don't have to say he didn't have a
Okay.
prophetic vision. Let's say, no, it's a prophetic vision. When is that gonna happen?
Yeah.
So it happens to be that he did all of this. Listen carefully. Did God say to do any of the things he just did?
It's not.
Go back in the story and take a look.
We read the whole pasuk. There was
No.
nothing
No, he's
else.
talking about the Baal story now.
No, the Kadmiel story. Any of it? No, I'm talking about
I just
you
read to you
call
what
the
you told
fire
me.
is gonna come. Where does it say?
Right.
Here's what it says. Take
I
the
read it
show.
to you. ויהי
Thank you.
ימים רבים ודבר אדוני היה אל אליהו בשנה השלישית לאמור לך הראה אל
Ahab.
אחאב ואתנה מטר על פני האדמה. Done.
That's it. Did God say go to Carmel, get 450 for Neviah Baal, make a thing with an olah, make a sacrifice, and there's going to be a conflagration, and I'm going to come down and another thing,
No.
and then after that, I want you to. Did he say anything about any of that? No. He said, go appear before Ahab and tell him it's going to rain. We found ourselves after the fire. Again, I want to repeat because I'm going somewhere. It's fire, conflagration fire. It's very strong wind that's so strong that you could shake from it. You know, when when the thunder comes like that prior to the storm and to the downpour. And you just came off of Nahal Kishon, which makes you think of rains that come at an unnatural time. And now the rains are coming, right? Now Mars can turn around and go. You know, it's very interesting. This is what Mars didn't say exactly, but continue with. If in fact we know he knows how to do CPR. That's for sure. We know that today.
But it doesn't say that in the story.
No, we know
Doesn't
that-
say it in the story.
That's the
We
point.
know. Doesn't say he did CPR, but we know that's what he did. He did
Yeah.
CPR. That's how he brought the kid back,
Yes.
right?
No, we
Because we know today, go tell anybody how do you
But
do
what is it?
CPR.
No.
That's how you do CPR. He breathes in the thing
Yeah.
and he gets him back. We know he wasn't dead. And we know, hello, folks. We know people who die don't come back to life. If he was dead, he was dead. And
Yeah.
people do not have the ability to bring the dead back to life. If in the ancient world a guy knows CPR, the people will say he died and he brought him back to life. But for sure it will be described. The legend
Yeah.
will be he brought him back to life, right?
Lock it up.
And what?
Book it.
Book it. That's how it's going to be described. But of course, we know that he didn't die. And in today's day and age, we know what CPR is. Everybody knows it. Not the common man. All the Amir Haaretz know that when you do that, that's nothing more than CPR. Then nobody knew that, but Eliyahu. So Morris is saying that means Eliyahu was at the cutting edge of science. Cutting edge.
Well, he's probably ahead of the time.
Way ahead of the time. That's what I mean by cutting edge. He's at the cutting edge. Nobody,
He knows biology.
he knows science. He knows how to purify water. He knows about chemistry of the time.
Pressing on the heart.
Yeah.
You don't know what is
Yeah.
being described because it's being described in this in
This
the
way.
way that they understood it.
Yeah,
They said, oh, he lied down on top of the guy and the guy woke up. I mean,
Right. They don't know how to describe that. Now, also, we know that he can purify water. We know he has the ability to do things. We know chemicals, right? And Elisha is going to do the same thing. When Elisha does it, he learned it from, he does CPR, Elisha, and he does water purification. And the writer Jeremiah says till today, that water that he purified, Elisha, it's being used till today. That's a long time. It's a century and a half, whatever, centuries later. And still the water that he purified, that river, that whatever you call it, is still being used.
That's how effective.
That's how effective it was. It was effective enough to last that long. He knew what he was doing, right? So
Cleaned up the river, yeah.
but
Yeah.
it didn't recontaminate. Whatever he did, it's a big thing to say ad hayom hazeh. When he says ad hayom hazeh, he means whatever he did purified it, that it never recontaminated. Because how did it get contaminated in the first place? Whatever he did, it knocked it out of the body, completely took out all the contamination. That said, well, it means he knows how to put certain chemicals in certain waters, and yeah. Once if you take all the bacteria out in totality, take all the contaminants out, then you're done. It's only, of course, if contaminants stay, it's a temporary thing. But if you completely eliminate all the bacteria in totality, you're done. The contaminants. Yeah. So well, it was natural flowing water, part of that.
They did that in the army. You take a pill, you put it into your canteen, you shake
Yeah.
it up. and that's-
Absolutely.
I understand, but I'm saying there's a
Same
chemical process that you
Same
can.
process. All soldiers have that pill with them always. You take that, you put it into the thing, you shake it, and you can drink anything.
They chlorinate
River water, right? So now back to where we are. I wanted you to. I'm spending a lot of time. How you doing, Sammy? I'm spending time on this because I want you to get the movie. I want you to see the movie now. Nahal Kishon. You slaughter thousands of people. It's tumultuous scene. There's loud yelling, screaming. First from the 450 who are cutting themselves trying to do it because he tells them call. So he says call even louder. So then they start yelling at the top of their lungs. And now you're hearing them, they're dying. So it's over the top noisy. Add to that, Nahal Kishon, that's the place where the miraculous event. Add to that, it starts raining in the next scene. What kind of rain? Like Nahal Kishon's miraculous event. Go tell him, go eat and drink. And then he tells him, keep trying. And then finally there's a breakthrough. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sorry? You go eat and drink. You can eat, you can drink. There's rain, there's crops, there's food.
When they started this scene, Achav and this other guy go tell him. He tells the guy, "You go one way, I'll go the other way. Let's look for lechem gomayim."
Look at me. They
Right.
go like this. Look.
Yeah.
They meet.
Oh,
So they're struggling for food. So he tells them, "Go eat and drink. Don't worry about it, so to speak. The rain's coming."
yeah.
Right? Let's say you're in a drought and you have no food. So whatever you have, you eat very little because you can't. Go eat and drink means make a table.
Like the pasuk from Yeshaya, right? After we break the fast, that's from Yeshaya, I think, right?
Right. Only now, eat all the food you got. You got a couple of animals, you're worried that don't worry about it. There's going to be animals and everything. So now that you see that scene, can I skip 19, Morris, right?
Well, the beginning.
ויעד ומהייתה את אליהו וישנס מותנה וירס לפניה אב עד בואכה יזעאלה. ויעל אהב לאיזבל את כל אשר עשה. He tells him everything he did, and she says to Eliyahu, "I'm coming after you. You're gonna be like one of those dead guys." She says, "You're gonna be like one of the dead guys that you killed. I'm coming to get you." When he hears that, he runs to Beersheba, which means he runs south. Remember, he's in the north. He crosses the border. Not only does he cross the border, what? I'm saying he's in the north. It's two separate cases. He crosses the border into the southern territory and goes all the way down to Beersheba so that she can't get to him. Why? First of all, he's in southern Israel. There's some other kingship. You can't just take your son. She can't take a bunch of soldiers and cross the border. And, it's, it's like going into enemy territory. What you don't come with soldiers over here, will blow your brains out, right? So he goes down to Beersheba. That's Asher Lehuda, right? That's right. And then he says, and he says, I want to die. And of course, when you sit under a rotem, who do you think of? Think of Yonah, right? He sits there, he's ready to die. I want to die. Right? Kiloto and I'm no better than them. What does it mean? I'm no better than my Avotai?
Never, I didn't accomplish it.
I didn't accomplish anything. I did nothing. All of this was a waste of time. That means my whole scene with the Nevi'e Baal, with the conflagration, with the fire, with the killing them, with the Nahal Kishon, with the rain. You know what it did?
No, nothing.
Zilch. It did nothing.
You mean to change the people? I mean, they said.
Did nothing. The
They
queen
said
is.
Hashem won, he's still in charge. Okay.
It lasted for 5 minutes that they said that. Everything's back now. It was Sunday. Listen, it's Sunday. There's a football game. Everybody's cheering. It's Monday morning. Everybody's back at work. And the whole thing, nothing changed. Everything is still the same. The leadership is still the same. Everything is status quo, right?
No revolution.
It's no miracles.
Somewhat.
Miracles don't work.
Miracles.
Don't work.
What kind of miracles? Yeah.
That's what we say.
Sanction.
Ten commandments, they went
Bring
through
me
all the
orange
plagues
steak.
and then after they see all of that and.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's orange.
different.
See,
Over
shake it.
here, through their eyes, they're experiencing a miracle.
Right.
The momentary flash only
But-
produces a momentary change.
That's it.
If you have something more substantive,
There's no real
you need
good.
substantive thing to have substantive.
Right,
change.
nothing really
That's-
changed.
That's the
Wait a second, wait. Let's say Kiryat Yamsuf. Aminu Hashem Moshe Abdo.
And the next day, go in the screen.
3 days later.
An hour and a half later.
3 days later, we need water.
It's not on my end.
We don't have any water.
We walk back.
They have water.
Let's go back. We're on.
They had water.
That's a change, man. Aminu Hashem. That's like.
Yeah,
That's a big. That's a
it's
big.
a big thing.
sentence.
No one says no.
They never believe in God.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
okay. I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, you know.
That was
It
a
doesn't mean they didn't believe in God after 3 days.
that was. You are mixing the two. This is markedly different from that. Just don't put. What are you putting them in the same category
You
for?
said miracles don't work.
No, it's different.
Yeah.
He means magic doesn't work. He doesn't mean miracle.
Sanctioned miracles by God. If you want.
No.
No, magic doesn't work.
We just said that.
Today-
Right, wasn't sanctioned.
Was
No,
that-
just-
God's not in the picture.
One second. It wasn't a miracle.
There he is.
You're missing. It wasn't a miracle.
You're not even.
Yeah. Stop. Listen, that's why I said I didn't want to get caught up on this. I'm no better than them. They Yishkav, and he goes and he tells him, and he goes 40 days and 40 nights. I want to skip now, right? Ve'yabor Samuel me'ara in 9, ve'yalin Sham ve'hineh devar Adonai ilav. The word of God came to him. Ve'yomer the Lord, Malacha po Eliyahu. What are you doing here? Ve'yomer, and he says, I cannot kineti Adonai. Who is the famous person that cannot kinef? Pinhas, right? Right? Elohim's word. Ki azru b'nitechah b'nei Yisrael. He says, I did it. God didn't say you were just, where do you,
No, but Kano, that's
No,
what.
no, it's insane.
Yeah, I was concussed. He said that's-
what words are you quoting that you say reminds you of Pinhas? What are the Pinhas words? No, listen to me, just you. Answer the question, exactly. Look it
You
up.
said Kano right away.
Okay,
That-
now
that-
show me what you're referring to.
Thinking, right, thinking, or it, in
Right, and when God says, right.
Who said it? Who said it here? He
Yeah,
said it.
yeah.
God didn't say that you were jealous of me.
God.
I said-
He's allowed to be jealous.
But kanod kinati over here, kanod kineti.
Right.
It's Lord ki azu b'nitechah b'nei Yisrael. Ezra raskel v'yechad agu b'charev, and I'm left alone, and they want to kill me now. He tells him to stand down in the mountain. Right? Ve'abod. That's like, of course, reminds you of the Abod on El Panav. Now listen carefully. ורוח גדולה וחזק מפרק הרים ומשבר סלעים לפני אדוני. Listen to what was to Morris's translation. God forbid he should keep up with us.
I'm right, but yeah. There was a great and mighty wind, splitting mountains and shattering rocks by the power of the Lord.
לפני אדוני.
They translate it by the power
Right.
of the Lord.
Now, listen carefully. When you were thinking of that scene with the storm just now, a minute ago, didn't you just read about a very powerful wind and sound from you just read it a minute ago. It just happened to be reading right now that there's, and when you hear it, you say, "Mefarek harim shabir sa'im f'Adonai," and you think of that storm. If you don't think of the storm, you didn't read the story good. Because you read the story, you go like this, oh wow, that I was just in the middle of that powerful, windy, earth-shattering thingy, right? And now I just happen to be, but you know what it says about it? It says, Lo beruach Adonai.
Oh,
God's not there. God's not there. V'hara ruach rash. Now, stop. You hear the rash? What does rash mean? Quaking. Noise, right? Well, what did you just hear? You heard them, you heard real rash. You heard the 450 guys cutting themselves and things, and there's the what do you call it? They take them to Nahal Kishon, right?
Yeah.
And there's and then you had the follow up on the rain, and it's thundering and quaking, so to speak. And over here it says, if there's wind, and then there's rash, and the rash, it says lo b'rash, but God is not there. Only Ike now. Ike. God is not there. What does that make you think of when you just thought of those two things? These words. Do you admit, Ike, that they remind you of what you just read?
No, God was not there either.
It's actually.
I'm asking, not in other words. That's what you think now, right? What does it make you think of? Makes you think of that scene with the wind and with the right. But it says, so it says each element. It says the main element, is the wind. The other one is the rash, right? And it goes, God is not there. Now listen to this, right? Bahara ruach rash, bahara rash ish. Did you hear anything about fire in the previous story, my friend? What a conflagration! All the water, it was so powerful that it destroyed the stones, there's nothing left. The water there's not even water left. What do you look at when Mars, in your mind's eye, when you look at that scene on Carmel, what do you see after the conflagration? Scorched earth. Scorched earth. Watch this. Vara ish. Loba ish. What happened? All the things that when you were reading this, you're supposed to go like this. Wow, God did that, God did that, and God did that. And now you're told God didn't do that, God didn't do that, and God didn't do that. Well, what was the scorched earth? So, did he make the fire? And we know, he's not, like Morris said, it's better. Not only is he advanced, he's probably way ahead of his time in his ability, because of his knowledge of chemicals. He can make a conflagration that is so powerful. It's like, when they drop those things from the sky, and what is it called? The army, when napalm. When you do it, there's nothing left. There's only left the scorched earth, right? So if he did that, you were left with a thing that the water was gone. There was nothing but scorched earth. You see nothing, and no snow, no nothing, right?
He prays just before he lights the match.
Right.
Also,
Like Annie, let this work, please.
Yeah, right. Right. God is not in the fire.
story. Latipol Esh Hashem. Couldn't have left out Hashem in that sentence.
The words, I'm answering you. It doesn't say the fire went out from God. The normal way is the fire went out from God and consumed it. That's a typical way, like with Nadav and Abihu.
Yes.
Over here, it said the fire of God. You know how you refer to fire? Well, fire is from God. It's the fire of God.
Oh, just. Everything's not God.
But the Paul Esh,
Could have easily said Latipol Esh, and then you would really be.
no, that the Paul Esh Adonai.
That's the
It's
point.
presenting
That's
it
the point.
It's
as
God's fire,
people see it.
Right.
right? Not what happened. The fire of God fell. Right? Now, wait. God is not in the fire.
Yeah.
Lahar ha'ish, and after the fire, you know what you do find?
Oh,
Kol dimamadaka, right? What do you have? Now, this scene,
Soft murmuring sound.
As
Uh,
opposed to
that-
A still small
a still
voice.
small voice, a soft murmuring sound, or an imperceptible sound. But you know what that means? That means the previous scene on Carmel is a blasting, loud conflagration, roaring flames, wind, rain,
Right.
fire, scorched earth fire, unbelievable rains coming down with that storm, the thunderclaps. And God isn't in any of those things. What's after all of that? Just an imperceptible sound. So slowly just know it. Right? Now listen carefully. I didn't have a chance to say all of this last week. Vahi kishmo Eliyahu, when he hears this, Ayalit panav be'adarto, he covers his face,
He wrapped his mantle about his face.
right, with his face. Vayetz and he vayaseh ve'amod petah ha'me'ara, stands because God told him go into the cave. No, Moshe was there was indentation over here. He's in a cave. Yeah. V'hinei elav kol. Oh, there's back to that word call. V'hinei elav kol.
Then a voice addressed him.
Vayomer malach Eliyahu.
We're doing it.
Again.
Now he hears a voice. Listen carefully. Vayomer Kano kineti l'Adonai Elohei Tzevaot. Stop. Listen carefully now. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. V'hinei elav kol Adonai. Right? We are about to repeat, no talking now. We are about to repeat the scene, correct? Because you've all learned it. I'm going to read it fast, just because so you remember. Right? That's the repeat, but there's something that you must catch. Morris, tell them, what's the difference between the two?
The difference.
Go
between the
back
two,
to verse 9.
There's only one change, and it's making a change that's telling you something critical to the entire story here. One opens with V'hinei
Tell
devar
him the verse.
in verse 9.
Sammy Few, it's chapter 18, Kings 1:18, verse 9. Vayabor Sham el Hamara, right? He comes at the beginning of the story, comes into the cave, Vayalin Sham, and he sleeps there. V'hineh, and behold, Devar Adonai Elav. Go ahead, Morris. What does that mean? The word, exactly.
Now,
V'hineh Devar Adonai Elav.
Elav,
The word of God came was to him. The second repeat says, go ahead, Morris.
the second time it's going to say,
No, it's not.
Vayamod petach ha'me'ara, v'hinei elav
Call,
kol.
not God.
No, what you're getting is a cross-reference
Yes,
to Vayehi Devar Adonai
Yes,
Elav
yes.
means
yes.
Kol Elav, which is an expansion of Kol Demamadaka. Because Kol Demamadaka, Vayehi Kishmoa, he hears it.
Yes.
He's going to go out, and now the sound is going to start to amplify, right? he's gonna turn his attention to it. He puts on his adartor, which means his mantle. That's the symbol of his
Leadership.
Nivi, his prophecy, right?
Right.
Prophetic story. V'hineh elav kol. Now, instead of saying Vayi devar Adonai elav, you get V'hineh elav kol.
Now, once you see that word call, you just now heard that God wasn't in the thing. There was a call, Dimamad. Now you're hearing that instead of Devar Hashem elav, you hear a call. Say it again. Say it again.
Replacing Vayi devar,
I
which
see.
is the way that, by the way, throughout the opening of the stories of Eliyahu, it always is going to say Devar Adonai elav.
Okay.
The word of God to him.
Good.
Right.
That's still
And
inside.
now it says
That's cool.
it's a call.
So that's-
Right.
And you
So
think
what
it's
is it
expansion?
telling you?
Listen,
Nope, they don't have
It's
God's name.
telling you
Yeah.
that the providential involvement
Mhm.
is through prophecy.
Mhm.
That is the way that I operate. That is the way that I am involved. That's the way that providence
Of
works.
course.
And then he's going to repeat this statement, and then you're going to get Vayomer Adonai Elav. You're going to get the full term of what he's supposed to be doing at this juncture.
exactly. Now stop. Now stop. Yeah, stop. If you don't listen carefully. He hears a call. Clearly, when you see this call, and you know that God wasn't there, God wasn't there, God wasn't in the fire. The last one is the fire. By the way, you know why the last one is the fire? Because the fire is the conflagration. That's the one that consumed everything. There's a scorcher, there's nothing left of wood, there's no water left, right? So that's like the fire is always the most powerful final scene, right? And then he's not there, there's a call, of imperceptible call. And now there's a call. And that call is what call? That call says, listen to what it says. Let's read it. Malachi, there's a call. And what does the call say? What are you doing here? What does it mean, what are you doing here?
He realized.
What? What does it mean, what are you doing here? What does what are you doing here mean?
Supposed to be doing something else.
It means
What are you doing? What is this? What
What's going on?
what's going on over here? What are you doing? What are you doing here? What's now? Where you saying turning it into a term only to make a point. What's going on over here with you? What's going on with you? I'm not in the fire. Listen carefully.
Yeah.
I'm not in the fire. I'm not in the wind.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So now, wait.
Yeah.
What are you doing over here? Like, remember when he got there, he said, "I'm wasting my time." He says, "What are you doing here?" He says, "Well, kano kaneti, ki azuri decha." He repeats it. He's caught. It means, listen, he's frozen in his position
He's paralyzed.
that he's paralyzed.
Right.
He's paralyzed.
He's
But you were told something critical in the middle of hearing that he's paralyzed. That thing that you were told is as follows. You, the reader, God didn't make that conflagration.
Right.
God didn't make that wind and all of that. And
talking to you.
he's talking to you. God didn't do that. It said it explicitly. Who did it? He did.
unauthorized.
Unauthorized. But when you say unauthorized, he said, I hear Eliyahu's position. I have to do something with my knowledge over here. He's not doing it to make money.
Right.
He's not doing it for his own benefit. His life is at stake. 1 second. He's doing this in danger of that lowlife Nishak coming after him, right? He says everything is disappearing. No, everything.
Yes.
There's nobody. All the other prophets are dead. All the other people. There's no spiritual people left. The people are gone. They don't believe in anything. If I don't do something now,
It's the end of the nation.
it's the end. Not should I have to act. If I don't act, cannot connect. Remember, listen carefully. Pinhas said, I can't leave this situation alone.
They're dying. They're all
No,
dying.
those are animals. look at how could I allow that? And Moshe said, oh, no,
When the Magen stops.
no, you have to let me talk.
That's Moshe don't do it.
Moshe, he did what the thing was, impale them.
Yes.
He did it. He says, nobody's doing the thing. That's what you're supposed to do under this situation. You have to act. Why? Nobody else is acting, and it's clear they're obligated to be killed. You can't go in front of the thing, of the Mishkan, walk up to it, and have a sexual act taking place, and stand there and say, "Oh, that's a terrible thing." You can't do that. I have to act, right? So he says, as prescribed, it was the law. God, God says that's what you do. Impale them. Go get the people on this video about brother and impale them. Poke out with them, impale them. So he did it. Over here, nobody told him anything. Nobody told him what to do. Nobody said anything over here. He wasn't given any instructions, but he said, I can't allow this situation to go on. And I'm the last guy left. And I have the ability to, what?
The con them.
Not to con them. I have the ability to.
I use the word impress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he wants, he wants to.
Right, he wants to sway them the right way.
He says
I
God,
don't think it's a con, but you need to try to bring them to the right direction.
yeah, I have to let, there's no, he is totally selfless. There's no selfish motivation. And he for sure, of course, it's God, and of course everything is right. Nahal Kishon. Of course, God, that was a miracle from them. So he goes to Nahal Kishon. So he goes to the places that are the markers of the nation's miraculous events and tells the people.
Is that his anger? Just look, at some point he's boiling over in anger from the whole situation that he got stuck into, and Nachal Rishon may seem a little bit over the top to just go, everybody come slaughter these.
Not may seem over. I told you what it is. It's the famous place. He's setting it up. It's the famous place. You go to the place where the most fabulous miracle that ever happened in the nation's history, and you do them dying in the same spot.
But there's a little selfish, I hate to use the word, there's a little selfish motivation on Eliyahu's part and things like that I'm just gonna give it to these guys who've made my life total hell.
Oh, you mean with the 450?
Yeah.
He considers that part of the correction also.
Yeah, but it's also.
These guys have to be
but it
taken
looks-
out.
It gives them a little self-satisfaction,
What's
Okay.
that?
right?
But yeah.
No, you
Not
can't
as motivated.
say.
You see what I'm saying?
You
That-
see, it's not fair to say that about him.
The only reason I'm saying that I want to parallel
Sorry.
to Moshe and Moshe hitting the rock. That's
No,
what.
no.
His-
No. With Moshe, he lost. No, because with Moshe, he lost his patience with them. We're doing it all over again.
Yes.
Over here, his motivation is there's nothing left. Moshe didn't have a nothing left situation. The killing of them is, these are bad guys. These are evil guys. The whole nation is running after these maniacs. You got to wipe them out. You got to do what you do that reminds you of Pinhas wiping them out. Except remember, as Morris said, Pinhas was following instructions. Over here, there's no instructions. Not only is there no instructions, you, the reader, are told that God says, I'm not there, and I'm not there. Explicitly, it wasn't me. Leaving the opening for you to go, it was you who did that, not me. Not me. I don't work that way. Now it's imperceptible. Now the sound comes back into he hears the sound, and he's back in that paralysis. He can't move. Stop a minute now. When you see the way the story is being presented to you, and you see that Eliyahu did the best he could under the circumstances, I personally, I don't think he did a bad thing. What do you do when you're caught with your back against the wall and there's nowhere to turn and everything is up the creek without a paddle?
I wasn't there.
He made his own call, right? Because God said it wasn't my call. Do you hold it against him?
You didn't turn to God.
Hold it against them? No, you can't hold anything against it.
Like you hold anything against him. He's selfless.
Right.
He sees there's nothing left. It's the last minute, the last second, the last shot. And now remember he said, I want to die.
Yeah.
He said, I want to die.
Yeah.
He says, I'm no better. He realized if he did the whole thing, he accomplished nothing.
Mhm.
It was all the scene with all the things that he did, and he went to all the famous places, and he went to Nalkisha. What did it do?
No way.
He's still coming after him.
He's on his way to Beersheba, right? Nothing happened to people. Where are all those guys, the thousands of people who killed those guys? Where are they protecting him?
He spoke to them.
Okay, so.
Nothing. They're afraid. They're back. They disintegrated,
So he did the best he could.
and that's the end of that. And everything is gone.
Should have did something else.
So I think yeah, that's right.
He should have did something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, that's what you should have done. You should have rebelled and opened and gone against that animal. Right. So now the story is being told to you to say that Eliyahu wanted what we said weeks ago already. He wanted immediate action by God.
Mhm.
And God didn't come through. That's it. And God's actions are imperceptible. And that's why the very next words are key now. Listen careful. Lech shuv ledarkecha midbara Damasik ubata umasharta et Hazael lemelech al Aram. Go now.
Lord said, go back the way you came and on to the wilderness of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael as king of Aram.
You know, Aram is the Nazis, right? They're the bad guys. And Hazael is going to be a guy, he's a killer. He's going to do horrible things to Israel. Go anoint him. That Yehu ben Nimshi Timshach Lemelech al Yisrael.
As king of Israel.
Say it.
Also anoint Yehu, son of Nimshi, as king of Israel.
Ve'et Elisha ben Shaphat me'abel mehola Timshach leNavi Tahtecha.
And anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat, of Abel Mehola, to succeed you as prophet.
Now, I want to take the words that Morris read in there. It's read in Abelmeh, whatever it is, yeah, and tell you that it's from the morning of sickness, Mour, morning, Abel, and Abel,
Yeah, Abel.
Mehola, from sickness. He's in a place that's called mourning from sickness. The name of the place that you find Elisha is in a place called mourning.
Yeah.
Not Morni, not a one. Morning, right? In Abilut from sickness. That's where he's located, right? And anoint him to be a prophet in place of you. And whoever escapes the sword of Hazael, that's going to be the king of Aram. Yamit Yehu, the king of Israel, right? Will kill. Whoever escapes from Yehu's sword, Yamit Elisha. Elisha is going to kill. By the way, Elisha never killed anybody. He sent the young guy and he told, what do you call it? The young guy to go anoint, sends a nod to go to stand in front of Yehu and anoint him.
I think both.
Both of them he did it with, or I think it was Yehu, whatever.
Was he the one that?
Ve'isharti be'Yisrael, and I will leave in Israel Shiv'at Alafim, 7,000. You know what that number represents. Kol ha'birkayim asher lo kara'u LaBaal, all the knees that didn't bow down to Baal. V'kol ha'peh asher lo nashaklu, and all the mouth that did not kiss it to him. Vayelech misham, and he goes from there. Stop, don't look at me. He went from there. Where did he go? God told him, go anoint Hazael, anoint Yehu, and anoint Elisha. So where did he go? God, I didn't ask you that. I asked you what should be now. He led from there. Where should he go? Go anoint. God says to you, go anoint Hazael. What? 2, go anoint Yehu. 2. 3, go anoint Elisha. Right? Now, God said that to you just now. When you go now, where do you go?
You go to the first one, Massey.
You heard it? God told you, go to, I'll say it again. God said,
Yeah.
1, go here. 2, go here. 3, go here. Where do you go in the first thing you do? Okay, where do you go second time? Yehu, right? Where do you go third? Okay, look at the next
Yeah,
words.
Elisha.
Ve'elech b'shem inside Elisha.
Went straight to 3.
He goes, what happened to want to do? God told you. By the way, did God tell him to do it?
Yes. Pretty good.
Ike, would you start with the third one? No, absolutely not. He forgot.
The third one is why you're out of job.
No, that's why he went
That's why
there.
he went
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
that's why he went there. He did not do the thing going to the first and the second. He goes to Elisha, and what is Elisha doing? Who lives in mourning from sickness, right? He is plowing with 12 yoke of oxen, right? And he is right. Ve'yabod Eliyahu. There's that word. Ve'yabod, right? About ve'yabod Eliyahu elav. Eliyahu.
Walks over to him.
Yeah, strange word. Ve'yabod. Ve'yashlech edato elav. Now let's see what the English guys say.
They write, and threw his mantle over him.
It says he threw it at him, right? He takes it. He goes. He walks over. He didn't even talk to him. He didn't talk to him. No words. He walks. He listens to the scene,
Oh, done. I'm done.
right? And he gives it to him.
Now,
Listen to this.
what
What did he do after he gave it to him? V'yazov v'tabakad. So he leaves the cattle. Elisha. No, Elisha leaves. No, Elisha now has this mantle on him, correct?
Mhm.
And he leaves the cattle. When he's running it, what did Eliyahu do? It means Eliyahu gave it to him. He walked away. So he comes running after him. He didn't even talk to him.
I'm sure. He told him to
What-
anoint him.
Right. He didn't anoint him. He didn't do the thing. I'm there. God told me, anoint you. You're taking over. He threw it and he walked away. Vayomer Ishaka now I want to go kiss my mother and father. And then I'll go after you. Because Elisha understood it. He was handing over the reins to him, right? I'll go after you. Vayomer Lo. He tells him, Lech shuv. Go back. Stop. Hold your place now. Lech shuv kineh asiti lak. Go back, because what did I do to you? Stop. Hold your place. Put your finger on Lech shuv. And go to verse 15, Soli, and read the first 5 words. Let Soli read it.
It's clear. The same page, same page.
No, but you must shoot.
Lech shuv. Lech shuv. Now, do you think those words are coming up by accident?
No.
Lech shuv. Go return. So he tells him, Lech shuv. He was told Lech shuv.
He's doing opposite everything.
So Morris, listen, he was told, Lech shuv. Go back to your normal way and go back to work. The third thing he was supposed to do in going back to work is hand over the leadership, but he had those other things to do. So now he tells him, I want to go kiss my mother and father. Hazi, you hear that story, you go, leave the guy, let him go. So he goes, Lech shuv. What does that mean?
Yeah. You look at that.
Go back if you
Go back.
What did I do to you?
No, I didn't give you anything. Just go back home.
What is I didn't do anything to you?
Leave me alone.
What did I do to you?
No, leave me alone.
No, I didn't give you anything. I threw the mantle, but I really didn't give you the job. So this is.
No.
No. Opposite.
Let shoot, go home.
Do what you like.
Do whatever you want.
Let shoot means go back to what you're supposed to be doing.
Lech shuv means you can make any move you want. What did I do to you? You want to go back? Go back. You don't want to go back? You're running the show, correct? Lech shuv over there was go back, do your work.
Yeah.
So he's telling him, go do whatever you do. Lech shuv, go back, do your thing, correct? That's what God tells him.
Yeah.
So he tells him, go back. What did I do to you? It's not my call to tell you if you should go or not go. It's your call. You're the guy who's running the show. What are you asking me for? May I ask you, what did I do to you? What are you asking me for? By the way, this is the only words that you see of dialogue between him and Elisha. There's no other dialogue.
I didn't know that.
Dialogue?
Well, read it right here.
Oh, no, I thought you meant
No,
later.
no, no, now. He walks up to him, walks away. Let me go. I want to kiss the mother and father. Do whatever you want. What do you want from me? But God told him go on the way. He was in paralysis. He goes to the third thing because he's not going to do the things. He can't act anymore.
He never does that.
He never does.
One and two never happened.
Never happened.
Elisha.
Elisha does both of them.
Here's what we see now for a bunch of chapters.
He's still,
Eliyahu goes back
they
here.
operate
It
in together
They're a team.
until Eliyahu leaves, right?
No, you see Eliyahu talking to Achab, you don't see Elisha.
Yes,
doesn't-
yes.
You don't
yes.
see Elisha doing it.
More than that. More than that.
Right? He said he's got anointed, and it's like the David story. He's anointed, and then he's hiding.
Much more than that. Much more than that. He's going to apprentice for a long time. How do we know? He learns how to do CPR. He learns. You think you learn how to do CPR in 5 minutes? You think you learn all the chemistry? You know how to purify water? How long are you going to be with a person you apprentice that you learn everything he knows?
No, especially at 11.
Could it have been 20 years? It's a long time. Time is going to go by.
He said a couple things later,
But in whatever, if you want, the longer the time, the bigger the problem, because he never
Yes.
does the other things.
Right. So
Never does them. Elisha does them. He never does them. The only thing
After.
after Eliyahu leaves.
he's interested in one thing. When Eliyahu, transfer, that he's responsible for. He trains him. He calls him Abi when he dies. He calls him father. It's like his father, his mentor, his teacher. He's crying. He's broken. Means he played the role of transferring power.
Beautiful.
Yes, perfectly. And he inspires him, and so on and so forth. Right? I mean, Elisha was a giant before this. That's why he was chosen for the position. But he apprentices under Eliyahu. So Eliyahu is a very complicated character. Now, listen, it's late. I don't want to not get to what I'm about to tell you. Eliyahu is going to go down in history as he never died. Everybody dies. You can't get out of dying.
But he's the most miraculous guy in the history of the nation.
He
does it. He does.
Elisha does twice as many miracles.
No, 1 second. Before
Stop
we
with
say
the
that,
miracle. Magic.
he's the guy who initially does everything, and he's so famous he never even died.
It lives on forever.
He lives on forever. He
His
goes
name lives
up
on.
to heaven.
His name lives on forever.
He's the ultimate miraculous.
That's the magic. Nobody, does anybody else that he goes straight up. He goes straight up. He's in the legend. He never died.
Right.
He never died. Just up. He went straight up. That's the legend that stays with him. And how long has that legend stayed? You went to a bris last week. He says he's coming, he's walking in. It's unbelievable. Isn't it amazing that the legend stayed for
That's what he.
There's no other guy who didn't
No,
die
yeah,
in
in,
all of.
Enosh.
No,
that's the-
What?
I know.
Hanok.
Yeah, but what does it say about Hanok?
Same thing. You went up to that.
Ve'enok kilakacho to Elohim.
Same thing. Yeah, well,
Well, what does it say?
That is Eliyahu's request. He says, "Kach,"
Right.
what does he wear? Kach nafshi.
Right,
That's his request to God.
right,
Ilot tov anochi me'avotai.
right.
His request
I'm no better than them.
is granted, so
Right,
to speak. Right?
right. Here's the words. I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, right?
No, not chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Chapter 2, Melachim 2, chapter 2, verse 11. ויהי הם ההולכים הלוך ודבר והנה רכב אש וסוסי אש והפרידו בין שניהם ויעל אליהו בסערה השמיים. And he goes up in a whirlwind to heaven. Listen to me, we're ending the class now in 5 minutes, and I want you to get everything I'm trying to tell you. And he cries out when he sees this happening, Abi, Abi, chariot of Israel and its riders, its horsemen, right? He takes the mantle, transfer power. That fell from him, wasn't thrown to him, now it fell to him. Now, and he takes and he splits the sea now, like Moshe in the next scene. Listen carefully now. This is important. This scene with Eliyahu, who does train him, right? Does train him. When he leaves, it says he goes up in a whirlwind to heaven.
Right.
That word Sarah, where do you see the word used? Joey Namer, let's see if he knows.
Whirlwind?
Yeah, it's the Sarah.
In the whirlwind,
Where?
The bones. The bones.
Who had it? Eob.
Oh.
God answers him from the whirlwind,
Oh.
right? Who else does it say Sarah about besides Eob?
Is Yonah?
Yeah.
I mean.
Yonah. Yonah.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh, in the
in
ship.
the ship, right? What is the word Sarah really referring to? No, not trouble. It is trouble. Well, what kind of trouble? I'll give you that much.
They come down with it.
What is it?
That's the
Oh, never mind.
internal theodicy.
That's the theodicy.
Yes.
That's the struggle.
That's you now. Why am I doing that?
Specific.
Yeah.
It's a specific.
Like
struggle.
Yonah, I see.
Yes.
It's the struggle. Yonah. I should go tell those people to make this about us filthy low lives. Hitler. I should let Hitler. After what he did, he killed Caesar. I should go to Hitler. No, go to Hamas. Just do Tisha B'Av. We did Tisha B'Av. I should go to them. Let them die. Let them burn it out. Takes the slow boat to China. Right? He takes the slow boat to China. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. That's the theodicy. But of course, that's the other side of the theodicy. You know, that's going to let them live, right? The other side, Eob. Eob just doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. So God answers him from out of the theodicy. How does he die?
He doesn't.
In the middle of the theodicy.
Who?
Eliyahu. It goes up in a sarah to heaven.
Oh, right.
He dies with in a
With
state
that struggle.
of the struggle.
Exactly.
He ends.
But is he getting the answers? Is part of him getting the answers?
We got the answers.
You again, exactly. You're getting the answer.
He can't reconcile with the response.
Right.
We get that from what he says.
Mhm.
But you know what Elisha does manage to do?
Everything that he was supposed to do.
That's what he tells him. If you can see me, in other words, when I hit the thing and I can't get past it, if you get past it, then you're the guy.
Let's go to the other guy.
But get past what? Not a storm in the sky and the thing. And
No, you're
blocking
in
it.
Existence.
If you're able to
You.
contend with this
Oh,
and
And,
cope with it.
and go beyond it, and he does. How are we going to know that? I'm going to tell you the number one way we're going to know. Everything Elisha does is by using his wits, riding with it, overcoming it, and he changes the situation all over the place. The Gedudei Aram come down to attack. He convinced, he gets a hold of them, and they tell him, how do we find this guy? Reminds you of the famous thing what you said. How do we get to this place? And he takes them right into the middle of Shomron, into the middle of town. They find themselves captive. All right, they came to kill him. They were sent by the king to kill Elisha, and his assistant tells him, we're dead. He says, we have more fire. Don't look on the mountains. So you see, we have more chariots on our side than on their side. You don't remember the story. It's coming soon. Yeah, so now when he's in the middle of the town,
Chariots of fire.
chariots of fire, right? So when he's in the middle of town, so the king tells him, Abi, he calls him Abi now. Now he calls him Abi. Should I kill him? He goes, so Elisha tells the whole, 400 guys there. He says, they're my captives, they're not your captives. Brought them here. He tells them, bring them food and water.
Go the opposite.
What? Bring them food, bring them water. They feed them. He tells them, okay, go home. The next words, from that day on, for the rest of his life, no troops coming from the north ever attacked Israel. Of course, you're supposed to say like this. Whenever anybody said, go down there, go there? The guy saved our life. I'm going to go down there? What are you kidding? The guy had me dead. And he not only let me go, he fed me, gave me thing, and said I should go. Crazy. Right? After he dies, you know what it says? They started getting attacked. When he dies,
Right.
a guy falls in his grave. The last end of the story. I'm going to the end of Elisha's life. Guy falls in his grave after he's dead. And he falls in.
He dies of a sickness, by the way.
Yeah,
He dies of disease.
the guy.
Elisha does.
Oh, Elisha's sick. Yeah, he dies from the thing that he's from the sickness
He
that
has
he's
some-
so thing, and he dies. So he falls in the grave, the guy, and then the guy gets up and walks away.
Yeah.
What's the story telling you? He
Yeah.
had an effect on the future.
His
He
attitude.
of course, nobody
Even
dies and
after
falls
he's-
in a grave. Even if he's after his death, his impact is so powerful that it affects the future, right? Elisha did get beyond it. Elisha is called Isha Elohim the most amount of times. He and all of 76, we're going to show you, and nobody ever knew. The very next is what? He's going to talk about Elisha and all the miraculous things that he did. Nobody ever saw that. I'm not kidding, for 2,500 years. That's what we're going to move on to. Before we move on, it's late. It's already 9:03. We say we're stopping at 9 o'clock. Listen to me.
So the change comes about because he hears his voice. Because he's open to hearing the voice.
No,
Eliyahu?
that's not a change.
No.
That's not a change.
Eliyahu,
We no longer have.
How do you effectuate
Eliyahu
change?
is being educated.
Right, how do you
God.
effectuate change?
Oh, no.
By,
Providence
No.
is done through prophetic communication.
right. I'm saying when
Not
he-
through your calls. Not through you making the call.
When he's
No, wait.
receptive to that, that's how you can effectuate change.
Right.
When he understands that. Right. And
Through the.
Some of these.
right. So therefore, the thing that happened with Moshe, listen, this is what I wanted to wrap up with. Listen.
Yeah.
When we said Kodim Adakah means the third and the fourth generation, like Moshe was told, it is that. It is that. Because in effect, what did he tell him?
Told them
It's not going to happen now.
this is a-
You're trying to make it happen. He say, what am I going to do? I got to act because, well, I don't work that way. I don't work that way. It's not going to happen.
Go set up the future.
Stop.
Go anoint this guy, and this guy.
Good. What does the 75th Mizmor say after 74's unbelievable request reminding you, remember 74, we said Moshe Rabbeinu or Toteno Lora'inu and or Navi, take your hand out of your bosom, right? The most powerful request in all of Tehillim in that prayer for change. And what does God say? It's all Ani Hashem, right? We know that. We spent it's already weeks and weeks. So what does that mean? When I'm good, when I'm ready, that's when it'll happen. And it's not happening now. It is not happening now. No, it is not happening. And you, Eliyahu, tried to force it.
And because you tried to force it, you're not gonna be the guy to do it?
You didn't say that. You tried to force it. I don't work that way.
No, he was
Not
told
because-
left shuv.
Go back.
He was told to do a whole thing, and then the last part is, and get the guy to continue with you.
That's the
Not
third
that you
thing.
should quit today. Yeah, that was before, and before, the last thing you're gonna do is set the next guy
Let
up.
them go.
But he couldn't get behind it. He couldn't get beyond it. He couldn't. You know why? Because in the Odyssey, you go like this. It's not fair.
Right.
You can't do things this way. Well, what do you mean you can't do things this way? That's why I do things, and you're not going to be able to fight that. Well, that's a hard.
Especially if he had a crisis of faith.
But
He
Lucas,
came out,
Then it goes back to
things
those
like
two
that,
things
that his life was on.
So is that so now?
So
Just,
he knew when you
You know,
thought magic tricks.
Av will die, and then Eliyahu dies after. It's like, he
Oh,
makes it just past the point.
right.
And
So-
then he goes,
and-
like, he had to see that
What
completed,
about her? She's still
so to
alive?
speak. What?
Is that all guys before?
No, they both died. They both
Well,
died.
fine. So now I got it. Now I got it. It's like for a little reflection for 5 minutes. The thing that we said about Eliyahu, that Eliyahu is the one that he didn't die, right? And the miracles that are all attached to him, the miraculous events, and the Nahal Kishon and the places and the way he did it. What do you think about the fact that we have a seat for him in the Brit Milah, and it stayed? What do you think? I'm just throwing it on the table for a minute. What do you think it means?
I'll tell you.
No.
He's father.
What? So what does that mean? Why did it make it? I'm asking you, why did it make it more than anybody?
Why did he make?
Why you have thousands of years of tradition, right? Why did that thing? I'm asking the table.
Well,
I'm throwing this out now. Why did he make it that? Oh, he never died.
what's his?
Oh,
I have an answer for this.
I have
Wait,
one
wait,
too, but
wait,
okay.
Clarify the question first.
What's the
Let me
big
get that
question?
question.
The question is like this.
Yeah, you got it.
What's that
He
other
ma-
guy?
he's the
Why is
guy. Yeah, there's a tradition.
the
It
guy?
lasted for thousands of years. And everybody you put the fifth seat there. And he never died. You tell people he never died.
Part B of that question is, what's the Pinchas connection with Eliyahu?
Well, Pinchas really out.
That's the BDT. So
Okay,
maybe
wait.
that's-
I didn't ask that question now. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold. I just asking why did it make it? Yeah. You have an answer? Why did it make it?
What was the question?
I asked, why did Eliyahu survive till today? The thing? Yeah,
Because that was the legend. That was the legend as it stood.
that's the answer. That's the answer.
What's being
It never
done-
went away, that legend. It's a legend.
No, the legend is there.
He makes miracles.
Yes.
Believe in magic.
That's right.
He is
Exactly.
the famous individual,
And-
like we said, that had miraculous
Yeah.
power and went up to heaven.
You heard what he said? He added to it. Wait. You hear what he said? People love it. People need it.
Yes.
People want it. People love. Yeah. People like the thing of it's a miracle, and miracles happen. You got that, Sammy? Miracles happen. Love miracles. It lasts. The people thrive on that one. They love the idea that people love the idea that a guy didn't die.
So it's more corruption of the religion.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm telling you what people like. I'm telling you how a legend could survive. It's amazing. It's amazing. Why does it survive? Because like Joey said, because people want that. People like that. Do you believe in magic? He just quoted the song.
I have a slightly different answer. Should I tell it to you?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
I said I'm throwing it out to the room.
Okay. I think that you see a recurring thing that goes on in the stories that are presented throughout the Torah, starting from page 1 and on. And it's taking all of the famous legends and myths.
I agree with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every myth and every legend is going to be reframed. And where are you going to put the story of the fact that it's not the miraculous fireworks
On the miracle worker.
on the miracle worker?
Of course. Of
And
course.
the famous guy, you know why he went up? He went up not in miraculous fashion. It leaves it as a miraculous fashion,
Yes.
but he goes up not handling the situation as it stands. So it changes the frame of everything. that
And the
he set
Torah is
forth
doing that
in
in
the
every
national
story with everything.
consciousness.
Right.
He goes from being the miraculous ultimate guy who makes it up. Even Moshe didn't go off straight. He went up straight. No, he was the guy who dropped out. He went up because he got cut short. He's the guy who got the message that you not.
No, he went up in the Sa'ara. In it. In the context.
He stays at the other thing, but is the text right in front of you to tell you that that's the case?
100%.
But nobody reads.
But
When
but it's leaving the legend, like we just said, it leaves
Yeah,
the legend,
for those of you-
but it changes
100% it
everything
leaves
that
the
you
legend.
understand about what he represented. And I gave you, you know this from the other stories, but you see that also with Yiftach.
Everybody.
He goes from being
Everybody.
the ultimate guy who did the ultimate sacrifice, the most pious guy, to being the tragic guy who didn't get it and crossed the line in what was going on.
I think that's where.
Right.
Those are it's the same reformatting of what the historical national consciousness thought about these.
But Devorah, when it says the Devorah won, she says, go take an army. You got to fight. And when she writes the words of Devorah in the Shirat Devorah, you Reuben, you're a zero. He put his life on the line for the nation. Heroes, fighters. The rain was a reality.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have won that battle without that flash flood.
It was a natural thing.
That's a natural thing. You can't say anything about that. It started to rain. What did you do? Amazing. All you could say is amazing. Amazing. But they fought, and they fought hard, and they died, and they were courageous. That's how she talks about them, right? She talks about the fighters who put their life on the line for and you didn't put your life on the line. Does that talking about miracles? Yeah, it rained. It's a miracle, but at the same time, the soldiers were out there, and they took she went. He says, "I'm not going into battle without you." Right? That's the one where they take that on and they go up to the top of the mountain. All right, Sammy, I hope you look like you were enjoying.
Yes, very much.
All right.
Always.
Have a good one.
Out of curiosity, we haven't had one